That's how much they hate when people outperform them. When people excel, they have a sense of jealousy, and that jealousy is destroying them. It's eating them from within to the point that it will bring them to go out and even tear down signs of a missing little girl in the city. Think about that. Just think about that. The next time you want to put your faith in humanity, the next time you want to rely on your boss, on your coworker, on your friend, on your teacher, you cannot rely on humanity. Look at what we're dealing with. Look at the level people will stoop to. For what? Just to be able to say that you're not any better than they are. Just to remind you that we're going to bring you down to our level. We're not going to accept your outperformance. Don't listen. Block out that noise. Block out that junk, because it's exactly what it is, and keep focusing on being the best version of you.
The trust factor is your ticket to a better life. The trust factor shows you how to get through the night.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Trust Factor podcast. If you listened to Sunday's episode, then you probably heard that guy I was talking about by now. And it shouldn't come as a surprise to you, because it's kind of the status quo. It's what the Jewish nation has become accustomed to, unfortunately, especially since October the 7th, where you have people who are undermining world Jewry everywhere they go. They are, instead of elevating themselves to the level of the Jewish community, they're looking for reasons to bring us down. You know what it's like? What am I talking about? First of all, I'm talking about this guy who went on social media and was complaining, asking questions. Why is it that this Jewish girl that goes missing suddenly garners all this attention and all this fanfare and all this media hype, and when his family member went missing, not even a fraction of that was the case? And my response to him was that what they should be doing is looking at this as an opportunity for growth. You know, when you join a new company and you want to succeed, you want to do well, one of the best ways to do that is to look at the top producer. Look at the guy who's doing really well and try and emulate him. You don't need to recreate the wheel. You don't need to figure things out from scratch on how to do it. Go to the top 3 producers in the company, interview them, figure out how they conduct their businesses, and try and replicate it. As long as it's above board and kosher, you're going to have the same opportunity to be successful. Obviously, there are mitigating factors, but generally speaking, if somebody's already been successful, massively successful at doing something, and you want to increase your odds at being equally successful, do what they do. It's an easy one. It's not rocket science. I remember when I got into finance, when I became an investment advisor, I'm talking about a lifetime ago, 30 years ago, I was working in the top branch in the country in one of the largest banks. And oftentimes, I would hear that mantra. I would hear people saying, replicate, mimic, learn from the top producers. And we had 3 or 4 really heavy hitting producers. And that's what we tried to do. So that's the idea, that if you want to succeed, learn from people who've already succeeded. So that was my response. If you want to elevate your community, if you want to have an equally resilient and caring and reactive community, or proactive community, then you should do what the Jewish nation does, because they've established very well, in case you haven't noticed it, which I know you have, because that's all you're complaining about, is that the Jews are successful. Yeah, because we are one big family. We are one big community. It doesn't mean we all get along all the time. It means that when we're in trouble, we step up. And that's the epitome of loving your brother as you love yourself. That when you see your brother's daughter or son go missing, it's exactly the same thing as when, God forbid, your son or daughter goes missing. Not a drop less, that you would do exactly for them what you would do for yourself. That's what we do. So it's your opportunity. Hit your wagon, look and say, that's an unbelievable example of how to be, how to conduct ourselves, how to make this world a utopia. I would love that for my community. Let's learn from them. Instead, what do? It's like the new guy at the job, right? The new guy comes on board and he's spectacular. He's an outperformer. Everybody hates him. Why do they hate him so much? The guy's doing his job. He's doing what he was hired to do. But they hate him nonetheless. And the reason they hate him is because he's making them look bad. because instead of saying to themselves, you know what, this guy's setting the standard and the company is going to benefit as a whole. And as a result of the company as a whole benefiting, that means we all have increased job stability, right? That suddenly we're not going to be looking for work because the company's outperforming. We're doing so well because this guy and the rest of us are doing our jobs, as opposed to the opposite, where we'll just put forward the basic amount of effort, the minimal amount that we can get away with, and then we'll make excuses for everything else. And then we'll hate on the new guy because he's making us look bad. Get him out of here. We don't want a guy like that running around and telling us what we need to do, or at least representing that we're not doing what we should be doing. We don't want this. A constant reminder of what we could be like if we would make an effort, but we're either emotionally, intellectually, physically lazy, uninspired. And as a result of that, we would rather bring that guy down to our level. We would rather have him join our ranks, which would make life easier for everybody, than we having to put in all that effort to reach his level. It's the same thing. This guy who's sitting and complaining is like all the rest of the Jew haters in the world. They hate the fact that the Jews are successful. They hate the fact that Jews have a sense of community. They hate the fact that the Jews hold high positions. Why? Instead of hating on it, step up and compete and do the exact same thing, and you'll be that much better off as a result of it. They want to instead bring us down to their level, the lowest common denominator, so that they don't have to feel bad that they're not doing all the things that they wish they were doing. We don't let up. We don't give up, and we won't appease you because that's the way you feel. On the contrary, we're going to double up our efforts. We're going to make every single effort, even when, as is happening right now, these haters are out in the street, believe it or not, ripping down posters of this missing Toronto girl, Esty, who happens to also be on the spectrum. I just learned this the other day. I don't know why they didn't make that information public sooner, that this girl's on the spectrum. It tells a lot about where her headspace is at. Anyway, bottom line is there are criminals, there are corrupt individuals in this world running around pulling down signs. Does that remind you of anything? Around the hostage time? That's how much they hate when people outperform them. When people excel, they have a sense of jealousy. And that jealousy is destroying them. It's eating them from within to the point that it will bring them to go out and even tear down signs of a missing little girl in a city. Think about that. Just think about that. The next time you want to put your faith in humanity, the next time you want to rely on your boss, on your coworker, on your friend, on your teacher, you cannot rely on humanity. Look at what we're dealing with. Look at the level people will stoop to. For what? Just to be able to say that you're not any better than they are. Just to remind you that we're going to bring you down to our level. We're not going to accept your outperformance. Don't listen. Block out that noise, block out that junk, because it's exactly what it is, and keep focusing on being the best version of you. It's our job to elevate them and to not allow them to bring us down. Let's get back into where we left off. We're talking about earning an income and the connection to emuna. It is the number one or the number two connection to emuna. We've said that number one is health, right? That it's a massive, massive tool in Hashem's hand to be able to get you to step up, to be able to get you to reconsider your life, to do that introspection, mess with somebody's health. All of a sudden, they've got a serious problem. They turn to Hashem. The other place is livelihood. We've said money in Hebrew is referred to in the Torah as dam, as blood, demei Chanukah. The money of Hanukkah is referred to as blood, which means it is connected to your health, to your life. And so therefore, it's also prime testing ground for somebody with emuna. What does that mean? That means you cannot fake it. If you don't have emuna, if you're somebody who walks through this world, which is 99% of the population, it seems sometimes, if you're one of those majority who run through this world with absolutely no emuna, you can't fake it. It becomes the sign, the first indication that you don't even have to speak to the individual. You don't even have to have a relationship with them. Just look at how they conduct themselves when it comes to making a living. That's all they can think about. Eat, breathe, sleep. That's all there's no other conversation. The conversation is always around money. It's always around business. It's always around the next deal. That's it. They're very careful with who they surround themselves with, because the people who they surround themselves with need to be the same type of people as they are. It's all self-serving. No relationship is one where they are often giving. It's always, what's in it for me? Or where's the business angle? How do I make money from this? When you see somebody like that, it is clear as day. It is your number one indicator that they lack entirely emuna. They may even think they have it. Like I told you, this is a rabbi's student. They might hold themselves out to be the biggest righteous Jew in the world. They might hold themselves out as being the pinnacle of emuna, which is exactly what we live with today, a world of lies, where you look at somebody who claims to be the representative of emuna, and yet they don't even have a drop. Why? Because as soon as the conversation shifts, the only place it goes to is money and business and how to make another buck, and at what expense doesn't really matter. That's what he's saying over here. A lack of emuna is reflected in one's inner peace, or lack thereof. If somebody has emuna, if somebody knows with absolute certainty what I've been telling you, what the book has been saying, that everything comes from him, that he has an obligation. He brought us into this world, and with that came his duty to give us our livelihood. Our only role in determining how much that livelihood is our actions and some of our history in terms of what needs to be fixed in this world. But our actions and our usage of those funds determines our next year's stipend. If we walk around knowing that, then we're calm, we're at ease. We understand we could be a couch potato and we would still be given the basic necessities of life. There are very few, if any, people in the world who don't have enough food to survive. That doesn't mean they're living a life of luxury. It doesn't mean that they're on the top of their game. On the contrary, they're just getting by. They just have enough to be able to satiate them for the day. That's not living. That's just getting by. That's what he has an obligation to give you. You want to improve that? You want to make it better than that? Then you have to step up and make an effort. And when you do, then that stipend continues to grow. That's what we've said. So you can see it on somebody like that who walks around and understands, if it works out, wonderful. If it doesn't work out, wonderful. I get it. I haven't missed out on a meal. Thank God I've got a roof over my head. I've got clothes. I've got food in the fridge. I've got money in the bank. I may not be a multi-gazillionaire, but I've never missed a meal and I've never missed a bill payment, and things are working out, generally speaking. So what am I worried about? If it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, it's also great. And things can turn around in a second. If I'm used to a life where I have minimal, that can change overnight. You've seen it, and I've seen it. As soon as people believe that the Creator provides for them, they've attained a level of emuna that will certainly earn them a portion in the world to come. It says specifically that if you read Psalm 145, you know this one, Ashrei, Ashrei Yosvei Beitecha. In the middle of that psalm, it says that you open your hands and provide for every living thing. That's a very important statement. It's a focal point of that psalm. And in fact, it's a focal point of our prayer every day. We have to stop right before that line and contemplate it. And remember that God provides for every living thing. That means the insects on the ground. That means the idol worshipers who worship animals, who worship statues, who worship fire and the moon and the sun still exist today. Thankfully, not many, but some of them still do. But he gives them their daily bread. He's not going to give it to you. He's not going to give it to his lover. The one who talks directly to him knows that there's only one God, would never consider worshiping an idol. Obviously, he's going to take care of you if he's busy taking care of insects and idol worshipers. Yeah? We'll finish off with some age-old sayings. You've heard these ones before, some of them. Some of them you may not have, but these come from wise people. They say a person with spiritual awareness, which is emuna, ultimately becomes rich. Number 2, by way of emuna, one's livelihood becomes plentiful. Constant joy, where one rejoices in his emuna and his connection with his Creator, invokes success. Want to be successful? Rejoice in your emuna and your relationship with your Creator. One who speaks to the Creator about his anguish, you have hitbodedut, you use your own words to connect back to your Creator, merits a greatly increased income. Simple. Have that 1 hour a day of conversation with your Creator, and it will result in increased income. The wise men teach that one should first pray to do the Creator's will, right? Don't pray for the income at first. First, I need emuna. I need to know what my job is in this world, and I need to have the emuna to conduct myself accordingly. Then pray for livelihood, because surely it says those prayers will get answered. And conversely, the wise men say that heresy, denial that the Creator exists or that he sustains, will lead somebody to a life of poverty. Sadness is also a factor that damages income. It doesn't work. When somebody's sad, when somebody's depressed, what you are saying to yourself effectively is, I don't agree with the things that are happening around me. I cannot agree. I cannot connect with the events in my life. I disagree with them so much so that they're making me sad, so much so that I'm constantly upset and I'm driven to depression. That's what depression says. Depression and anger and hatred and all of these negative emotions are really our way of saying, or at least demonstrating outwardly, that we don't agree with the way that God runs the world, and certainly not with the way that he runs our life. We would make better choices. We would do a better job. Could you imagine? That's what it is. And that's why when somebody exhibits sadness, depression, anxiety, you're really showing that you completely lack emuna. And that's why he says your income will suffer as a result, my friend. What we're being told here is that the secret ingredient, one of the secret ingredients for success, financial success, is investing your time and your energy in your relationship with your Creator. Don't delay, my friends. Do it every day. 1 hour. Personal conversation with your Creator can change a lot, including your income. Have an amazing day. Thank you for spending time with us on the Trust Factor podcast. If you've heard something today that moved you, save this episode and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming conversations that challenge, empower, and uplift. And if you're on social media, connect with us. Leave your thoughts. Drop a quote that resonated with you. Hashtag the Trust Factor podcast. Until next time, keep growing in your trust and keep living with purpose. I'm Jesse Revivo, and this has been the Trust Factor podcast. Thanks for listening.